All right, we are live and welcome everyone for joining in for our info session with Foundations of Accounting. We're just gonna give a couple of more seconds for people to join in. But thank you all for being here. We're really excited about this session. My name is Mashur Chaudhry, and I am the manager of sales and recruitment for the Chang School. And before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I want to pay my respects to the Indigenous peoples, elders, and ancestors who stewarded and cared for nature and the people who lived on the land where TMU is located today. At the university, we've made a deep and long-lasting commitment. I invite you to learn more about this work online. Now I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as not to disturb other attendees or the presenters. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can see and access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. You will have the option to submit text questions to today's presenters and speakers by typing your question into the question box of the control panel. And you may send in your questions anytime during the session. We'll answer them at the end of the presentation portion. Now I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. First, we have Dongning Wu, Academic Coordinator of the Certificate at the Chang School. Next, we've got Adam Prokop, Course Instructor here at the Chang School, and Carmen Jacks, who is Officer Student Recruitment at the CPA Ontario, specializing in internationally educated professionals. And now I'll invite our academic coordinator, Dongning, to go over a quick overview. But before we do that, we just want to do a quick poll and see what everyone who has joined thinks about the question that we're asking. What is your primary reason for attending this session? We just wanted to get an idea and provide feedback for our teams. The first option being exploring career opportunities in accounting. Second one, interested in CPA designation, looking for skill development or career change, and then considering further education. So we'll just leave the poll up for just a couple of more seconds, and then we will share the results. All right, so looks like interested in CPA designation is the top option selected, followed by looking for skill development or career change. And then we've got one vote each for exploring career opportunities and considering further education. Thank you for participating. We will now stop sharing the poll. It's great that everybody is interested in a couple of options that we shared in the poll, and we'll be covering a little bit of each of the options shared in our info session today. So now I'll invite our academic coordinator, Dongning Yu, to go over a brief overview of the certificate.
Thank you, Mashur. And thank you everyone for attending today's session and for sharing your reasons for attending the session. It's really helpful for us to see your goals. And I hope today's session will give you a good overview. And of course, you are welcome to follow up with us if you have specific questions about your background or goals. So at the Chan School, we offer 4 levels of accounting certificates. And in my presentation today, I will introduce the level 1 certificate, Foundations for Accounting. So for this certificate, students will need to complete 4 courses delivered online with both synchronous and asynchronous sessions. For example, you have asynchronous or pre-recorded videos to assist with explaining different topics and problem solving. And some courses have synchronous sessions with Q&A or walkthrough of textbook problems and so on. So the 4 courses are all accredited by CPA Ontario as prerequisites for entry into the CPA Professional Education Program or CPA PAP, and I will talk more about this soon. So the average length is 1.5 to 2 years for this certificate, depending on the course offerings and how many courses you take each semester. So if you want to complete the certificate faster, that is also possible. So you will have some flexibility. You can complete the certificate at your own pace. And the cost to complete the certificate is about 27 to 2,800. And we have experienced instructors who are also employed in their field. They will bring their experience to their teaching, and some of our instructors also teach in CPA. And our program prioritizes collaboration. So when you complete your certificate, you'll have a network of advisors, staff, instructors, and also peer learners who can provide support as you transition into new accounting roles. And we also offer career support. You will have access to a career education specialist who can help you, for example, change or choose your career path, develop a job search strategy, improve your resume, and so on. Next slide, please. So now I will talk more about the 4 courses for this certificate. So there is all courses are accredited by CPA Ontario. And there's one accounting course, financial accounting, to help you gain a fundamental understanding of current accounting standards and procedures. And in addition, we have 3 courses on business law, economics, and applied statistics, which offer basic knowledge in these general areas that are relevant to business practices. So as I said earlier, we offer 4 different levels of accounting certificates, starting from this Foundation of Accounting certificate, and then Intermediate 1, Intermediate 2, and finally the Advanced Accounting. And once you complete these preparatory courses and then CPA PAP, you will be eligible to write the Common Final Examination or CFE. So this is a path to get the CPA designation. Next slide, please. So who should take this program? Working professionals with the goal of switching to accounting or finance and wanting to do accounting courses online. Non-accounting graduates who want to get the CPA designation, and newcomers to Canada who need to take some accounting courses in Canada to build their Canadian resume, and business owners or managers who want to enhance their accounting knowledge. Next slide, please. So what will you learn by completing the certificate? So I have talked about many of these points. So again, our program is designed to make sure students gain a fundamental understanding of current accounting standards and basic business practices. And our curriculum includes 4 CPA accredited courses, which fulfill prerequisites for the CPA PAP. And this prepares students for certifications and also ensures that they have the practical skills for entry-level accounting positions. So that's for this page. Next slide, please. So some highlights and benefits here. And again, we have covered most of the points here. I just want to highlight that our students have access to financial aid through Ontario Student Assistance Program, OSAP, which can help pay for college or university. And we offer flexible learning and sequential knowledge acquisition. And then finally, the requirements here. Students will need to complete the 4 required courses with a cumulative GPA of 1.67 or higher. So these are some highlights of our program. And yeah, so that's some general introduction to our certificate program. Again, if you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we're always happy to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dongming, for that overview about the dynamic field of accounting. And thank you for taking us through the multiple options that are available in accounting and how we can attain those skills. Now, it's my pleasure to welcome Adam Prokop, who's an instructor of the certificate and also a course developer of the certificate at the Chang School. Welcome, Adam.
Hello, everyone. Hope to see you all in spring. And I've been teaching at Chang for a long time. And we've really been, over the last several years, putting in a lot of effort into developing the courses, having lots of videos, lots of resources available. And what's really great is the courses, asynchronously, like there's enough there for you to do, very well in the course. But we also have for the courses weekly regular sessions online with the instructor where we walk through problems, and we can also take any questions as well. So it's been pretty fruitful, and we get pretty good attendance online, even though a big chunk of our students are working professionals.
Okay.
Is there I think there's some questions, right? If you want me to answer.
Yeah,
Or I
so
can-
we will go over to the Q&A section once we are done with our speakers. We right now don't have any open questions.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so I can speak just a little bit more about the program. So just so you know a little bit about my background, I come from the corporate world, over a decade of experience, and I have my CFA as well, my CPA, and I've been teaching accounting at multiple schools and universities for the last several years. And what's really great about Chang is we don't do a lot of prepackaged stuff. So for example, some of the courses that I've developed, like we have new slides, tons of videos, tons of problems, cases that we develop. And to make things related to the working world, we're very hands-on. So for example, in our accounting courses, we're doing a bunch of problems in Excel. Okay. Data analytics is an emerging trend that's been over the last several years. So we have cases with Power BI, where you learn how to use Power BI and analyze data. And these are the same things that I saw in the corporate world. Okay, so not only are we trying to build in this case, first the foundational knowledge, but we're also trying to make you more employable. Right? And that's what we kind of see from our students as they go through, the first certificate, the second, the third, and the fourth. We start building your skills. Okay. So we also have, I teach also in the in-person program, including the GDIP program, where we're basically preparing students for the CFE. And many of the students who have gone on to write the CFE or get their CPA through TMU, they've taken some of the courses from Chang. So it's the same kind of quality that you're getting from the in-class experience, you're also getting from Chang. And at I would say, a very, very reasonable price when you're looking at it from a market perspective, the value that you're getting. Like I'll tell you personally, like some of the courses I've developed, we've done like 200 videos in a course, and that takes a long time to do. But we get, that feedback from the students. Students don't want to just have a 3-hour lecture recorded. They want to have nice broken down topics going through everything. And we try to make ourselves as available as possible. Okay. So that's there's kind of two goals that we have. We want to make sure you have that knowledge, the theoretical, but also focusing on the practical as well. Okay. And that, the goal is to make you more employable, okay? And for you to also hopefully appreciate accounting. And even if, I work mainly in finance now, right? So I transitioned over from accounting to finance, but I'll tell you, in general, I find people who have an accounting background are much stronger when they go into other fields, understanding the financial statements. And now CPA is moving more towards strategy and information systems. So it's just going to add a lot more value, not only to your educational experience, but to your career as well. Okay. So yeah, we're hoping to see everyone attend in the spring.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, Adam. I love the parts where you shared about how we're constantly updating the content and delving into data and analytics and real world problems and corporate world scenarios that's making everybody more employable and ready for jobs, no matter what sector they're interested in. So thank you so much for sharing that and providing that insight for our attendees. Now it's our final guest speaker that I want to introduce, Carmen Jags, and she is the Officer of Student Recruitment at CPA Ontario, specializing in internationally educated professionals. And Carmen will share some insights from CPA and her journey and experience. Welcome, Carmen.
Thank you very much, Masroor, and thank you, Dong Ning and Adam, for that great overview as well of the program. So, yeah, my name is Carmen Jags. I'm an officer on the student recruitment team. I'm a CPA CJ, as well as pretty much an internationally educated professional for many of you if you're joining in. I immigrated to Canada. And yes, going through upgrading, getting myself recertified was one of the, I would say, the quickest ways to get integrated into the Canadian labor market. And here today, I'd like to speak to you about basically who are CPAs and what are the benefits of becoming a CPA, right? You've seen Adam as a CPA, myself included, I'm a CPA CJ as well. So, CPAs are trusted financial experts, ethical thought leaders. We are trusted by businesses and professionals to make a difference where we work, right? As you've seen, I'm an officer at CPA Ontario. Adam, being a CPA, is besides his full job, probably is also an instructor. So you can see we make a difference wherever we work. We have that unique ability to see things in numbers, able to develop trends and analyze business situations to make business decisions. Now, as a CPA, you will not only understand and speak the language of business, but you will also be able to articulate the story the numbers are telling. So really, CPAs create value for organizations, economies, and society with integrity and courage. Now, CPAs are powerful change agents. We are people who navigate through disruptive change. So what does that mean? We anticipate the unexpected, we simplify complexity, and transform data into business strategy. There's never been a better time to be a CPA. There's a huge demand for highly qualified professionals in accounting, business, and finance. And with a CPA designation, you'll be equipped to meet that demand. So what are the benefits of being a CPA? And in my experience, I've seen that what many people most value in the CPA designation is its versatility. or at least once they realize how versatile it truly is. From manufacturing to nonprofits, from tech to sports or public practice, you'll find a CPA virtually in every industry at every level of an organization's hierarchy. So you can think of the CPA designation as a passport, right? That can allow you to work anywhere in the world and in any industry. So let's talk about the earning potential. Many of us are interested, right, in career advancement. You're going to be investing time, money, energy into pursuing a rigorous designation that's so highly regarded. You also have the opportunity to pursue the income that you aspire to. So the designation offers the opportunity to earn an above average salary in all sectors of the Canadian economy. It also allows you to demonstrate to employers and colleagues that you are knowledgeable, skilled, and competent, and that you understand and can speak the language of business. So, in other words, a CPA program helps you not only to develop your technical accounting skills, but also, most important, the human life skills such as problem solving, collaboration, communication. You develop an ethical mindset, emphasizing integrity and ethical decision making in a socially aware and inclusive manner. Now, because this designation provides you with a toolkit of human and technical skills and knowledge, CPAs are always in demand at many of the top organizations here in Canada. So I'm just going to recap here right now. When it comes to credibility, accountability, respect, you have a reputation for your knowledge, integrity, and high ethical standards. Now, the journey to becoming a CPA doesn't consist of a single path, right? But many different streams. Like as Dong Ning, provided, you can take courses from Chang and then kind of continue with the CPA path. There are various pathways, right? Which we can, if you'd like to learn more, for any of you, we do have CPA information sessions. You can attend one and Masroor can share more details about it. But I'll stop here. I'll be happy to take any questions that you have from, on the CPA program. Thank you very much.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Carmen. And I've actually shared in our chat the event that's coming up, CPA Corner. It's a really cool event. It's a roundtable with CPAs to learn, and it's free to register. You can click that link and go ahead and register. With that, now we will actually open it up for Q&A, and I see we did have a couple of questions that came in already, which I will review. I know Brenda, who is our client services representative, she's answered them via text, but just for everybody that's on the call, I will go over the questions and the answers. So first question was from Ayman. Thank you for your question. What is the schedule like for these courses and how many hours does each course require? And a very similar question that came in after was, what is the estimated timeline to complete all 4 CPA PEP prep course certificates? So the estimate hours per week per course really depends on when you do the readings, the assignments, study for the exams, and you might need about 2 to 3 hours outside of the time that you are at class, because there are no lectures for online courses. We say about 7 to 9 hours per week for online courses. Sorry, Brenda, did you want to add anything there? Okay. All right, so the next question is, this is, an emerging topic that that we've seen in other info sessions as well, but it's an evolving topic every day now. With the rise of AI in various sectors, are there any material in the course that has been modified to reflect this, or offer courses to gain insight of how AI will affect accounting? Maybe, I don't know, Adam or Dongning, you can start with, and then others can join in.
Sure. Sorry. So this is a great question and a very timely question. Yes, we are seeing changes in the accounting profession with rise of AI and automation, and particularly in areas like data entry, categorization of transactions, and some other aspects like financial analysis and so on. So at the foundations level, the focus is to build a strong foundation or understanding of the core accounting principles and the business fundamentals. So these courses do not focus directly on AI. They are designed to give you the essential skills that every accountant needs. That said, as you move into the more advanced levels of our accounting certificates, you will encounter topics that are more aligned with the changing technologies, including data analytics, which is now part of the CPA competency map, right? And we are also regularly looking at the course contents, and we're continuously making developments and updates to existing courses to enhance our course offerings to reflect the changes or the trends in AI, automation, and also ESG reporting. So it's something that we are continuing to integrate as the field evolves.
Great points there, Dongming. Is there anything anyone would like to add to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that as well. So just like what was mentioned before is, we have to be able to walk before we run, I like to say. So we want to make sure you have that knowledge, right? So eventually when you're in the workforce, there'll be a lot of stuff like Donnie mentioned, like transactional analysis or financial statement analysis. There'll be things that will be maybe spit out of a black box. But if you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to utilize it, right, strategically, right? So, in later courses, I think in accounting information systems or some of the activities we have on a weekly basis where we get you to go look at, a news article, for example, and post in a discussion, we can incorporate that. But we want to really make sure that you have the fundamentals first, okay? Especially because the final exams have significant amount of weight and focusing on going through the problems and understanding the material. So that's kind of where we want to make sure that foundation is there. But yeah, I think in upper level courses, we start to explore that in more detail.
Thanks for sharing that, Adam. Carmen, I know this was more towards our courses, but in CPA Ontario, are you guys seeing any impacts or making any changes to reflect what's going on in the world of AI?
I think our courses are evolving and the curriculum keeps evolving, right, in terms of it. So it is embedded into the course, into the program. And really, I think it's after also, more than anything else, that is how you learn that, but it's also at the workplace, right? In order to become a CPA, it's two aspects. You have the program component as well as the application that you're going to be working in real time. So you'll be able to apply what you're learning in your course at your workplace. So I think that's an important component. The entire program, including your courses, these are not full-time programs. The fact that you're even doing it at continuing ed or at CPA after that, the entire program is part-time. So it's really designed for work and study as well as applying that knowledge that is being evolving through course curriculum in every aspect at your workplace.
Love that. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So the next question, and Carmen, maybe you can start with the answer on this, and others can join in, is what type of career opportunities are available for someone who's just completing level 1 of this certificate and not really pursuing the entire CPA designation? Maybe you can start with that, and Adam and Dongning can add on. And I know Dave has also chimed in text for this answer. There might be something that Dave can add on as well.
Dave kind of puts in he wants to weigh in here. So does he want to kind of weigh in here first? So let him take it away.
Go ahead, Dave.
And yeah, let's
Sure. Well, maybe I'll just take an opportunity to introduce myself too. I'm an academic and career advisor at the Chang School. I support all of the programming at the Chang School, but I talk to a number of students who are involved in this program in particular. And I will absolutely defer to the expertise of the professionals here because they work in this field. But from my experience, when students ask this question, as I've put in the chat answer there, really it's a very basic introduction to the field. Obviously, as Dongning and Adam had said, it's an important starting point for progressing in that field. But that level 1 program on its own is not generally going to provide you with a substantial enough level of training to find accounting specific roles. It is better seen as something you can do. For example, if you're running a small business or involved in entrepreneurship or doing something where you might have exposure to accounting and you'd like to understand the general concepts or be able to communicate with accounting professionals. But and again, I will defer to the additional guidance of the professionals here. But from my experience talking to students, it's not really going to make you a competitive candidate for accounting specific roles. I have chatted with students in the past who've done level 1 and level 2 and have been able to look at bookkeeping roles, things like that, non-licensed accounting roles. But just considering the broader job market and the sort of the competition you're up against, that level 1 program is likely not going to be sufficient for anything accounting specific. But I'll defer to Dongning and Adam there.
I know, Carmen, you wanted to maybe start if you want to add something, and then I will let Adam and Dongning add.
And I would kind of agree with what Dave said, right? I mean, I'm not here talking, this certificate program is really giving you that introduction to the whole field. I think it's a great opportunity, number one, for you to kind of say, here, I'm learning this. Is this something of interest to me, firstly, to pursue a career? So it's a great way to test your interest rather than taking into, big steps ahead. I go back to Adam's comment, you need to walk before you can learn to run, right? So that's kind of you're a testing ground. Number one, it reaffirms a number of things. And also in terms of applying that at your workplace, right? You would get probably entry-level positions, or sometimes maybe even not totally related to accounting, but in that area, but where you can really test, is this something that I'm interested in doing? Is this a consideration for a career in accounting and finance and business? And then probably take it from 1 to 2 to 3 and 4, or, and pursue and advance your career, right? But again, you need to start somewhere, I would say. Like there's always a starting point. You can't, when you talk about becoming a CPA and looking, if you don't want to become a CPA, I know the person kind of qualified, I don't want to become a CPA, then probably you've also got to settle down for something that's, that is commensurate to what the expectation is of taking a level 1 certificate course, right? And that's fair enough as well.
Great insight. Thanks for contributing to that. I know, Dave, you said you wanted to add another comment, but before that, Dongning, Adam, is there anything you'd like to add? Okay.
I would just say, yeah, no, I agree. It's like, if I'm a doctor and I go to med school and I drop out, well, I can't be a doctor. But the cool thing about this is that there are other certificates that do a few courses in accounting, like for example, for HR, right? So, if you like the structure, like maybe you try out the first certificate and maybe accounting is not what you're super interested in, but you took, a law course, or, you like how everything is set up, and maybe you're like, okay, I'll try something else as well. But what I will tell you is that, if you look at, and I think Carmen can speak more to this, but a lot of people that end up getting their CPAs and then they go and they work for, the Big Four, they get their experience, they end up in a different field. I'm an example of that. I switched over to finance, but my accounting helped me to kind of switch careers. I know people who work in marketing, running their own businesses, that have an accounting background, right? So yeah, again, another thing to think about is if you go through this program and let's say you're interested in running your own business, being an entrepreneur, understanding the financial statements is going to put an edge. You're going to have an edge over, some of the people you're going to be competing with, right? So sometimes thinking beyond just the certificate and thinking about what you want to do, and there can be some value that you can get out of there. I always say that, I believe that even if it's not directly impacting your career, knowledge is always going to give some value to you in the long run. Okay? So even if you only do the first one or two, okay? And we have people that do it over a longer period of time. Again, you could do it at your own pace, right? So that there's always that option as well if you're trying to think about the work-life balance.
And yeah, if you don't mind, Mashur, I'll follow up
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. Go ahead.
So just this kind of leads into a question that I get sometimes, or we get, where a student might say, well, then what's the point? Why do you have a level 1 or a level 2, or why do you have it divided up? And part of that is just for convenience and logistics, right? Like so for example, if as Dongning said, these certificates are eligible for OSAP coverage, right? And if we just had one large program and you'd already done some of it, then maybe you might not be eligible to register in the program, and you'd miss out on that option for OSAP. And then similarly, like a lot of the students I talk to, they may already have some of these requirements completed, right? Like either as part of their previous degree, or maybe they've done some courses through the CPA directly. So they'll start at level 3, right? And they'll start, they don't have to go through this process of doing transfer credits for a larger program. They can just start at level 3. And for example, and I talked to a student last week, which was a combination of both of these points, where they had done a bunch of courses through the CPA, which is great in terms of meeting CPA prep requirements, but because they're not technically degree credit courses at the CPA, they can't use those as transfer credits towards TMU. So that complicates, like, if they did, say, 3 of the 4 courses in the level 1 certificate, they couldn't transfer those towards the certificate. So then where the structure comes in handy is you can say, okay, I'm just going to do this one remaining course from level 1, and then I'll start at level 2, and I can apply for OSAP, and I can finish the certificate. So there's just some logistical reasons why it does make sense for us to divide it up that way. And I would just, if you're in that position of having completed a portion of these courses elsewhere, and you're not really sure where to start or how to structure that, I can help you with that. And I've reviewed plenty of CPA assessments, and I know what the current requirements are with the CPA. So we can go over that together if you have any confusion, and then we can tell you where to start.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Dave, for adding that. And yeah, just to let you guys know, Dave is very helpful in going over and discussing things like this that that can help you in your next step and your path forward. So next question, it's a long question, but I think what the person is asking is is the certificate all online and self-paced? And if someone who is looking to prepare for the CPA, they're looking at other schools and universities and seeing most of them have run for 3 semesters with about 4 to 5 courses per semester. And they're wondering just how that would look for the certificate series at the Chang School. So I know Sarah's been typing away the answer there, but I'd like to invite her maybe, and Sarah could say a couple of words regarding this question. Sarah is our program specialist with the certificate here. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Mashur, and thank you for the question. It's a great question. So yes, you can choose as many courses as you would like in a particular semester. Usually recommended if you're working full-time is 1 to 2. 2 is a much heavier course load. 1 people sometimes find a little bit more manageable. So something to keep in mind is what are your other priorities? What are other things that you're doing? I think Brenda put in some great information in terms of the questions for how long you should prepare for each course each week. So something to consider. Something to keep in mind is that not every course might not be offered every semester. So you just really want to be planful about the kind of courses that you're taking. You also, in terms of, I'm not sure what I mean by self-paced. It's in terms of the courses, it is self-paced, but the courses themselves are not technically self-paced in the broad sense in that we have semesters. So you just want to make sure that you're finishing all the coursework within that particular time frame of the semester for that course. I hope that answered your question. Also, I know Dave has amazing information as an advisor here, and we have other people on the call who might want to jump in with additional information.
Yes, I think I got a little note from Jen, who is our program director of business, and Jen would like to weigh in a little bit on this. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you. Thanks. Great question and great answers. I just wanted to provide just a bit of context just about the online delivery and just a recommendation that if you're interested in pursuing the CPA designation ultimately and where you should start in that pathway. So from an online perspective, our courses do vary, and Adam touched on this a little bit, as did Dong-Ying throughout the presentation, is that they have typically run about 3 months each course, and most of these courses you're going to find offered each semester, so we try to be as flexible and meet your needs as much as possible there. Each of the courses do have a balance of assignments. That might be tests and exams. It might be different participatory, assignments. There might be suggested live instruction that takes place, as Adam mentioned as well. You might have some videos that you're watching and engaging with throughout the week. So although you can fully do them online, there's some structure to that to help you in the completion. So that's something to consider when you're looking at how many courses you want to take each semester, and Dave and the team can definitely jump in and help guide and provide some recommendations there. But just taking a step back, if you're looking to obtain, and that's an end goal, your CPA designation, it's strongly suggested that you do reach out to CPA first, and to get a sense of, okay, what education are you bringing to the table? Where do you need to go? And help have that knowledge looking from that perspective, and then seeing how our courses fit into that journey there. And it's more of a handoff, Carmen, if you want to add anything there, but it is a recommendation that if you're looking for that higher level designation there, definitely reach out to CPA, as they have a lot of tools available to help you achieve that goal.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think doing a transcript assessment, and when I say transcript assessment, that's our language, but it's really assessing your education to see really where do you fit in and what are the gaps, right? As I said, to become a CPA, there are various paths, right? And you can fill in those gaps, to various streams, whether it's at post-secondary, such as the courses that are being offered here at Chang School, at CPA Ontario, at other institutions. I mean, the pathways there are millions of pathways for you to become a CPA. I think the question for you to ask yourself is, number one, do I want to get there? How do I get there? We can show you, we can show you that and guide you in terms of how to get there, as well as I can also attest to the fact that there are tremendous benefits of becoming a CPA at that end goal, right? But the question is, a few kind of piece of advice. Don't be too myopic, like think through and kind of say, where do, what's my plan? How do I get there? What is the benefit? Like, don't look very, in a short term, just for the next 3 months, 6 months, right? I mean, it's okay. These are steps, these are building blocks to get to where you are. You cannot, going back to Adam's question, you can't really go and become a doctor right there. There are steps that you need to take. And the same way to become an accountant. You're looking at becoming a professional, and the paths to get there are diverse, but you can get there if you choose to get there, right? So the decision first comes from you, all of you who are attending our webinar today. I'll stop here now.
Thank you for sharing that. And I just shared another link for all events that are happening at the CPA Ontario website. Feel free to take a look at it and explore. We are at time, and I just want to thank everybody for attending our info session today. And we like to gather some feedback. We've been doing that this time around just to see how we've been doing. So I just shared another poll. Please go ahead and answer that while I do my closing remarks. So I want to once again take this moment to thank our speakers, our attendees, for taking the time out of your day and attending today's session. If you're interested in learning more about the certificate or the series of certificates, visit our website at continuing.torontomu.ca. And if you have other questions, you can contact me directly at mash.chaudhry@torontomu.ca. You will receive a follow-up email with this presentation or recording of the session and a survey within 24 to 48 hours. And on behalf of the Chang School, I wanted to thank you for another great day. Thanks again.